Today we mark Romani Resistance Day. It is a day which attests the bravery of Roma people who were deported to the concentration camp of Auschwitz-Birkenau in 1944 for fighting back against the Nazis. All of the Holocaust constitutes a dark stain in Europe's history, but this day is different as it reminds us of the courageous Roma who fought for the right to life and their freedom despite being outpowered. Anti-Gypsyism has survived the Holocaust, though, and continues to impact millions of Roma in Europe who are not treated equally and continue to lack access to basic resources, education, employment, and health care. This is why I have made a pledge to step up the fight against anti-Gypsyism and promote the equality, inclusion, and participation of all Roma across the EU. This is even more important today when we are witnessing discrimination against Ukrainian Roma. In response, all EU member states have received clear instructions that those seeking refuge in the EU must be adequately protected from all forms of discrimination and violence and receive proper support. As European leaders, we have an obligation to continue the fight for equality in the names of those who perished in 1944, but also for those who today suffer systemic discrimination and exclusion. During my mandate, I have put forward 2 initiatives meant to bring us closer to a society free from discrimination and anti-Gypsyism. These are the EU Anti-Racism Action Plan and the European Roma Strategic Framework. I am also committed to ensure a thorough implementation of the non-discrimination legislation, holding member states accountable to their own commitments and ensuring inclusive participation of Roma at all stages of policy making. I wish you a successful event.
Thank you, Commissioner Dalli. And now I would like to invite MEP Romeo Franz for his welcome address. Please.
Dear colleagues, dear friends, dear Romani heroes, I'm especially delighted to open this panel dedicated to the contemporary young Roma heroes. Negative stereotypes and deep-seated stigmatization of Europe's biggest minority are long-standing and widely held perceptions of the Romani people across Europe still today. Fighting this stigmatization and racist attitudes are crucial, and the main way of stepping out from the vicious cycle is also to have positive representation. In this regards, I am noticing change that is affecting our young generations of Romani people. Young Romani people are starting to more and more revolt against the narrative of passive victims who cannot shape their own future. This negative image is not attractive to the young generations, and they strongly wish an emancipation from this internalized victim role. This strive for a new, positive narrative is important to improve the self-confidence of the Romani people in general, but of the young generations in particular. And at the same time, it is so crucial in the fight against stereotypes and prejudice of this minority, and not least in the fight against anti-Gypsyism. Dear colleagues, dear friends, before I was elected to the European Parliament, I was the executive director of the first foundation established by Romani people in Germany, the Hildegard Lagren Foundation. The focus of my work was to develop and implement solution concepts and lighthouse projects to combat institutional discrimination and the anti-Gypsyism, to especially support young people. One of the success projects that was particularly close to my heart was the creation of the Romno Power Club, which is now available in many cities in Germany and meanwhile also across different Europe countries. The club, with the various activities, follows an approach of empowerment of young Romani people in a protective and supportive space, helping them to successfully complete their education and training path, and overall supporting them to strengthen themselves, to become more self-confident, and to be able to free themselves from the vicious circle of exclusion. Young Romani people should experience their own language and culture and proudly show it to the outside world. The development of self-confidence and self-understanding with regard to one's own cultural identity is of particular importance. In this way, strengths and potentials are recognized and can be used concisely in order to shape their own future, but also our diverse societies with equal rights in a self-determined and self-confident manner. Education, art and artistic practices such as music, theater, cinema, visual art have a strong impact on young people in general, and they can also provide to young Romani people tools to shape their personal vision and discover their potential, gaining positive personality developments and improving and facilitating active citizenship. Against this background, I would like to warmly welcome the contemporary Romani heroes that we have invited today to the European Parliament. I am very much looking forward to hearing about their positive narratives, the personal success stories, and the ones of their organizations. Thank you again for joining us here.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Franz, for being a contemporary Sinto hero and for all the job that you are doing for us and for hosting us and for your welcome address. Now I would like to give the floor to Ms. Marina Chikos from Pirena Mensa.
Thank you so much, Atanas. My name is Marina Chikos, and I'm a project assistant of the Pirena Mensa International Network. And I'm also a Roma feminist, so I just would like to also welcome our strong and amazing Roma women here. And I think we should, yeah. It's very nice to have you here. When most of the people think about Roma, they associate them with begging, poverty, and being uneducated. Everything but not resistant. That is why it is so important to celebrate and raise awareness about the Romani Resistance Day every single year. Our history is silenced in the schools and in the education in general. It is not surprising, therefore, that even many Roma do not know about their own histories and what the legacy of their ancestors is. Being in such situation, we Roma people and our people who feels to be our alliances have to make the effort to learn about Roma history and what 16 May 1944 means to us. However, for many ignorant, racist people, even existing evidences are not enough to believe that the Romani genocide happened. They say we have no reason to celebrate the Romani Resistance Day. Like we wouldn't have been resistant of massive oppression since we arrived to Europe. Like we wouldn't have survived slavery and genocide, forced assimilation attempts, forced sterilizations of our women, or systematical marginalization of our language and culture. People seem to forget all these horrible things that happened to us. However, regardless of all of these things, look at us. We are still here. We are still coming to the European Parliament and proudly say that we are Roma and we demand justice. What it is if not the excellent example of resistance? And what is this Romani resistance would be without our young generation? How would it look like without their unlimited resources, their courage, creativity, and leadership? These amazing young Roma heroes who are present in this event also right now are our hope for a better life. For this reason, the Pirenamența International Network in 2020 started a campaign which was also part of the Roma Youth Voices for the occasion of the Romani Resistance Day. The project, coordinated by us and funded by the Rights, Equality and Citizenship Program of the DJ Justice European Commission. During this project, our organization asked young Romani people to share their stories and tell us what resistance means to personally. Although we already knew, we still wanted to show to a broader audience that young Roma have a huge potential to fight against discrimination, and that they do so even on the daily basis. Some of the participants of this campaign are also in this room today. We would like to thank you for the great job that you are already doing and keep up being resistant. So I would like to ask now to play we have 3 short videos that we would like to show to you. I hope it's possible to watch it. No. I sent it to you.
When?
Yes. Okay. So maybe it's not possible. Sorry for the misunderstanding. I don't know if we can handle it now.
We have 3 YouTube links that in the hurry we forgot to send to you. So is there still an opportunity to play them? Like if we give you the links? No. Okay. We can. You have a 1-minute patience, the public? Okay. Thanks a lot for that and for your understanding.
Zo začiatku spolužiaci nevedeli, že som Róm a rozprávali veľmi nepríjemné veci na adresu Rómov. No keď som povedal, že som Róm a ukázal im, že som Róm, ktorý nezapadá do ich určitého vzorca, zmenili názor.
Yeah, I think this video would be for today, and you are very welcome to visit the Pirenamența's YouTube page, and there we have more videos. Really sorry for these technical issues. Thank you.
Sorry, I mean, after so many Zoom events and coming back to reality, sorry for this technical failure that we had. Okay, we are proceeding further, and we have our guests here from different countries. So each of them is having a presentation. I would like to kindly ask you to keep it to 10 minutes. And in the end of the presentations, of course, we are going to have a space for questions and answers. I'm not aware if you are somewhere online in the space and people are watching us on internet at the moment, but yes, I hope we can collect questions and answers from online as well, if somebody can help us with that. With this saying, I give the floor to Ms. Morena Pedriali.
Hi everyone, I'm Morena, a Palestinian Roma living in Italy, and Italy is really a problematic country when it comes to Roma and Sinti. My presentation.
Just to ask the presentation of Morena. Yeah.
Yeah, sorry. And we did this project that was called Fieramente Romani, that means proudly Romani. It was a project including many activities. So, sorry. Okay. We started in my neighborhood that was actually a really difficult neighborhood in which to live. We were members of different minorities. We were Roma Sinti, but also Palestinian refugees from Mediterranean and Balkan route, LGBTIQ plus people. And we were hungry at how the things work in our neighborhood, because we were all part of minorities. We were targeted by the street by neo-fascist groups daily. That like we weren't safe to go walking in the street if they targeted us. There were many assaulting, also many killings in my city actually, and the municipality of my city was openly fascist, so like we were not their favorite kids at all. So we started doing our project because I come from a family that was circus performers, street art performers, and we wanted to do something including art too. Sorry. It's not working. You don't know? Okay. Okay, so it all started with theater. We did mainly street theater shows. We went like in the center of the city where rich people lived and tried to bring awareness on our struggles, because we were like in the outskirts, extreme outskirts of the city. And these are photos from a theater show we were able to bring to the main theater of the city, thanks to also the local organizations like Amnesty International that like creative spaces for us. There are pictures from MSM2, that means I am you, as you know, and from our last show that's Don't Call Us Gypsies, made also with Ivana Nikolic. Some of you may know her. She's a very talented Roma dancer from Italy too. And we made the shows starting from discrimination that we lived in Italy, because as I said, it's like a white country if you are Romani. And in particular, Don't Call Us Gypsies was about this fact that happened in Roma in that year. A newborn baby Romani girl was shot by this fascist man that was also part of the municipality. She did survive, but she's now paralyzed for life, and she didn't get justice yet. So we did these shows about her. Okay. I'm going crazy. Okay, we also produces art pieces that we distributed in the city. This in the photo was made after the mayor of our city said that all Romani were criminals. So we wanted to answer him. Obviously the original was in Italian. We also saw them, so is this one?
She says you have to press just once and wait 3 seconds.
Okay, sorry. It was too fast. We also collected food and basic necessities for family in need in our neighborhood, not only Romani family, but especially for Romani in the camp near our neighborhood. So we collected food by supermarkets and then went to distribute to the people, and also the people could come to help us, so it was something made by the people for the people. We were all in the same situation. Okay, then we work at the graphic novel, talking about the Romani childhood inside camps. You may know what the so-called nomad camps are in Italy, are places where we are put and let there starve to death because you can't work, you can't go to school. These camps are controlled by army, so you also can't go outside freely and come inside. And we did this project talking about a Roma girl inside a camp. It was called Storia di Barriera, that means like frontier stories. And we did also a presentation that you see in this photo. Okay. Okay, we also organized many protest events and spoke in a radio program and other media like a magazine, online and in real life. Here you see like a manifestation we did for Black Lives Matter, one for the Kurds, one for the Palestinian, and one of Romani with the Movimento Chetane in Italy. And then came Roma Plan and the pandemic. That was like one of the saddest pages for Romani in Italy. So Roma Plan is this government plan that wants to abolish all Romani camps, the so-called nomad camps. You see one in the photo. And they want to do it without any housing solutions. So they just pick the people, throw them into the street, destroy all the properties, and then arrest them because they are homeless. And in many cities in Italy, being homeless is not legal. So during pandemic, this plan went on, and they did a lot of eviction. The one you see in the photo was the eviction from the camp Monachina in Rome, where children, before leaving, before being forced to leave, this drawing and scripts, the one you see says, you are destroying our dreams. So it was like a message they wanted to do to the people doing this. So, as I said, this caused so many Romani living by the street. There was like a huge emergency because actually people were dying in the street, were letting to die in the street, starving. It was winter in my city. Winter is very, very cold, so they were left with nothing. So I started this emergency fundraiser to try to help them. I didn't want to do charity, but it was the only thing I can do. And I was supported by all the other Romani activists by Italy. We created a network of organizations, and especially we collaborated with Romani-owned business. The one you see in the slide is Diclo Collective, this Hungarian Romnia-owned business. They helped us collect like 1,000 euros, just them, so we thank them a lot. We collected almost 6,000 euros. We used them to buy school supplies, warm clothes, food, basic necessities for Romani that were homeless in the street. We tried to change their situation, so we also tried to financiate job paths or school paths. We organized this summer school for children that were evicted, so they missed school, and we paid the teacher during summer to help them like fix what they have missed, and also psychologists, because obviously it's not a beautiful situation in which to live, especially if you are a child. We also made art and design pieces like the one you see in the photos to sell and collect more money, and financed them with the donation. Part of the donation went to also create art projects, street art projects in the city. So we are financing now big murales about Romani resistance warriors in Italian resistance during World War II. So it will be in the city, and as the city is against us, it will be very, very important. Then after, as you may know, little Olga died in Greece, actually was killed in Greece, and to remember young Romani Romnia Anna, that was this girl from a Secondigliano camp that she was like dying by the army that was controlling the camp, that refused her to go to hospital after pregnancy complications. And they mocked her and lost her while she was dying. So it was like a shock for our Italian community. We wanted to do something, and we started this social campaign to let people talk about what we were living, because no one in Italy outside our community knows this, because the media don't cover this. And we started this with Movimento Chetane, and it was actually a successful campaign. It is right now going on, so if you want to participate, you can do a photo like us. And the last thing we did was an art exhibition to celebrate 8th April. It was actually very hard to find a place that wanted Romani people to do it, because we do it with the local Sinti community. And they didn't want us in like any space, but we find this theater that collaborated also with the Romani community in the past. So we did this. It was a little, but was very important to us, and we are going on with all the activities right now. So this is.
Thank you, Morena, for all the great job and campaigns you are doing out of your heart, because you want to help our community. Thank you for that. And now I would like to give the floor to another presenter who does a lot for his community. Misho, floor is yours. Present yourself, please.
Hello, it's nice to see all of you here. My name is Mikhail. I'm coming from Bulgaria, and I'm studying political science and psychology at the American University in Bulgaria. And I will present a small project that we started with my friends 1 month ago. It is a really small project, but it is important to me, and maybe will be important to you, because it depicts how our community can self-mobilize, want to change something bad in the community, but outside forces or factors doesn't give the chance to this to happen. And this is a presentation of hope, because that is how my neighborhood is called in English. It's hope. Nadezhda. It's called Nadezhda in Bulgarian, but in English it's translated into hope. This is yeah, okay. This is my neighborhood. This is a small square in the center of the neighborhood. My neighborhood is one of the biggest neighborhoods in Bulgaria, with estimated population of about 15 to 20,000 people, living in a really small, dense area. The town's population is about 80,000 people, which means the Roma community makes up to 20%, 15-20% of the whole population of the town. And the only one place people can hang out, young people can meet and chat, and the only one place that has green space is this square in the whole neighborhood. And it is important to us because it is the place where all of the life of the community is happening. This is the heart of the community. Okay, oh no. That's the plan. No, not that way.
Maybe it's better if he says next, and it will be fine.
Okay, can I say just next and people...
Yes.
Can you go to the third slide? Yeah, okay. First, Next. Next. Next slide, please. Okay, and as I said, this small square is the heart of our community. But unfortunately, this is how the community's heart looks like. It's not welcoming. It's not nice. I don't think every one of you will like to hang out there. Next slide, please. And that's why I came up with a plan to change it, to make it more welcoming, to make it more desirable for young people to gather and just have fun. On the left side, you can see how I envisioned the place, and on the right side and on the previous side, you can see how it is actually now. Next slide, please. Can you go next? Yeah, I organized 2 open meetings, 2 open discussions in the neighborhood. A lot of people came. A lot of people came to share their ideas. Unfortunately, all the ideas that came were too ambitious for us for the moment. But still, we came up with a small plan. Can you go the previous? Yeah, this is how we envision the neighborhood, with a lot of green space, with places to sit and just enjoy. After the discussions ended, we organized a team of 15 people, young people mostly, and we came up with a plan. How do we engage our community? We have 5 main pillars, let's say, that should be engaged in this small project. Can you go next slide? Next slide. Thank you. First, we have to engage the community. Then we have to engage the Roma-owned businesses, the business in the neighborhood. Then we have to engage, can you go to the next slide? We have to engage the local authorities. And at the end, next we have to engage the churches. The churches are a very important part of our communities. And last but not least, we have the people who are willing to help our community, but they are not Roma. Can you go to the previous slide, please? No, previous. Yeah. So we started a campaign to collect money from the community, from the people, so we can do what we envisioned. We managed to gather about 1,300 levs, which is kind of a lot for the project. Most of the money came from the businesses, and then about 500 levs came from the business. About 200 levs came from the people, the normal people, and then we have about 500 levs coming from non-Roma people from outside the country. We had donations from the States, from the UK, from Spain, from a lot of countries in Europe. Can you go 2 slides after that? So when we have the money, we have the idea, we started working. You saw the neighborhood, you saw the small square, and this is how we started our project there. You can go to the next slide. We repaired the broken walls of the square. You can go slides, yeah. Then we started doing the soil. We started working on the soil. You can go next, yeah. Even small children engaged in the project, old people too. Everyone was engaged in the project because they felt the need that if we manage to restore this small space, which is super important for our community, it is the heart of our community. And if we manage to repair it and have it green, have it nice to just hang out, we believe that we can change more in our community. Because having something small visible leads to believe that we can change even bigger problems in our community, which are huge. But unfortunately, you can go next slide. Unfortunately, as I said at the beginning, other people, there are people and forces that don't want us to succeed. People started destroying what we did. They destroyed all of the repaired walls. They destroyed all of the planted trees, and they even tried to destroy the benches that we restored. But fortunately, one guy was awake during midnight, and he saw two guys with an axe going forward the benches, and he shouted at them, and they ran away. The thing is that we wanted to engage all of the main pillars that, as I said, having in mind the authorities too, but they didn't want to be engaged. They wanted to do the most basic thing, saying, okay, we will provide something, we will help you, but they were not there. Our people self-organized, self-mobilized, trying to do something good for the community, believing that this will lead not only into a better place to hang out, but even it will develop into better relationship with the local authorities. But no, the authorities don't want to the community to self-organize, because conquering the heart of the community will lead into something bigger. They believe that the Roma community shouldn't be united, shouldn't be strong, and shouldn't be empowered, because if we have all of these things, we may also want to rule. And I believe that the people who are behind all of the mischiefs are people from outside the community. People who don't want us to be strong and united. People who don't want us to envision better future for us. And this is not the end of our hope. Even today and tomorrow, my friends in the community will try to repair what was being destroyed. And as we envisioned on the fifth slide, I believe, we envisioned the neighborhood. We will do it like that, even if it takes months and years. That is, that will show people that not only we can self-mobilize and envision bigger things, but also that we resist outside forces and we want change. Thank you.
Thank you, Misha. That was really, as you can see, a story of a 20 years old, sorry if I'm 20 somewhere, a student with two hands and with an idea that is trying to change the community. Thank you for sharing this with us. And I would like now to give the floor to Mr. Yotsi Marton to share his campaign with us.
Yes. So, good afternoon. I'm really honored to be here, and thank you for inviting me. And thank you for this great chance that I can talk about intersectional approach within the Roma movement. My name is Yotsi Marton, and I'm a Roma LGBTQ activist from Hungary, like two in one. I was not prepared in the presentation, but I was really happy that today we talked a lot about the Ukrainians, our Ukrainian Roma people. And if I would like to tell you why intersectional approach is important, they are one of the examples, because in Hungary there are many refugees arrived when the war started. And we Roma activists from Hungary, we realized that the way how they are treating the Roma people, it's completely different. And if there is not an intersectional approach, for example, in the civil organizations who are dealing with refugees, that's a problem. But thanks God that in Hungary the Roma activists were really aware of the fact that they went to the border and they helped our Roma people also in the border. So today I would like to present two projects briefly, and through these examples I'm trying to give you reasons why intersectional approach is really important. But before everything else, let me talk a little bit, just a little bit about the recent political ambience. What in our activism has to succeed, has to show their impact. Because every period of the time, like activists had difficulties and challenges, right? But in my generation, in our lifetime, this is the hardest period, like pandemia, war, inflation, just name it. And all above that, the right-wing populism, it's rising all around Europe, all around the world actually, but especially all around Europe, and especially in my country. And it's influenced a lots of things. The whole world is many times, I feel, upside down. The words are losing their meanings. Oppressors claim to be that they are the oppressed. And majority feels like minority. And those who are still owning the major part of the public spaces, they are saying that they are excluded. Many times examples are ridiculous. And even the opposition member of the opposition politicians are mentioning stuff like, yes, identity politics are really harmful and we are starting to be excluded. And they are telling examples like Netflix. I wish I would joke, but they are really angry because a bunch of diverse characters in Netflix. Because now everything, even if just a little, everything is unfortunately in their eyes, it's too much. I didn't say anything about the slides, but can we go further? Just one. Yeah. So, representation matters. Just raise your hand if you heard that slogan often or many times. Representation matters. Yes, we heard a lot. Yes, we heard a lot. And you know, they are talking about this thing as like the cherry on the top. Like, let's talk about poverty. Let's talk about the systematic oppression. Yes, these are important things. But representation, actually, it's part of the problem. So we need representation, we need self-representation, because it's completely different than representation. Self-representation is when Roma people takes in their hand their own narratives. And if I need to give two attributes about the Roma representation in Hungary, first I would say that it's extremely poor, and second, all that little is really harmful. So that's what led me to engage with visual self-representation of my group, the Roma LGBTQ community, because if I'm thinking about them, that situation is even worse, so it's really down. So the title, like owning the game, can we go further? Maybe, yes. So the title, owning the game, refers to the very fact that we would like to take back this right, that we're gonna build it up from the zero for our narrative. And how we would like that our narratives would like. We would like to represent it with dignity. And we really want to stop the victimization, because even if you are Googling, that topic, you're gonna find some articles that's for sure, but it's going to be about victimization. And especially victimization of our own Roma people. So every time when a journalist is contact me, the first questions are going to be like, how your Roma family reacted that you are gay, how the Roma community, they feel like that the Roma people, my own Roma people, are gonna eat me alive if I'm saying that I'm gay. So that's also we wanted to stop, because Roma people have enough stigma, and we don't want that also the homophobic and the transphobic stigma on the Roma people, because it's just not true. Of course, there are homophobic among us, like in all around the world, in all kinds of nations, all kinds of people. So we don't want this stigmatization at all. And especially because not the Roma people who are organizing, for example, hate groups, attacking pride events all around the world. Not Roma people who are doing this. Hungarian intellectuals, unfortunately, really often mocking this intersectional approach. They are referring, and I'm not saying just like one example, unfortunately in Hungary, academics who are teaching in universities and they are giving interviews, they are saying these kind of things like, we are organizing an Olympic and we would like to know like who is the most oppressed. So that's what we are doing as a race with each other, like who is the most oppressed person. And of course, we are not competing with each other. We are competing against the mechanism, the oppressing mechanism of the system. But it's really interesting that why somebody can see us like we are doing a race. It's because they are putting themselves in a position that they think that they are the judge and we are the one who are competing. No, it's not about that, and we would like to somehow tell to them that it's not their position to judge this. Another really often mentioned critics of the intersectional approach is that we always talk about feelings, like, and it's not something just you feel. We are not talking about only emotions. We are thematizing the systematic oppression that overlapping minority positions are creating. So the fundamental reason to have intersectional approach is to channel those people who are, for example, the big mainstream movements are not able to channel. In my case, I'm talking about the Roma movement and I'm talking about the LGBTQ movement. But I'm really positive because the last couple of years there were many changes, also around the Roma movement. That's why I'm here. I'm in a Roma week and I'm talking about you this intersectional thing, so that's a proof that there is a big improvement. And I can say also that the LGBTQ movements also in Hungary, in Eastern Europe as well, because I was also invited in Bulgaria, in Sofia. They are trying to look at, they're trying to look forward and they try to involve us as well as Roma people. Oh, yes, I'm sorry. I was thinking that it's not enough what I want to say, and it's the opposite. So the last picture, please, and I will finish. So intersectional approach is not just about LGBTQ people, it's also about women, and that's why we were thinking that Roma movement need more feminism as well. So we created a group, an informal all Roma group in 2020, and we started to broadcast live discussion on Facebook. And our main goal is, as partly I mentioned, we would like to also influence the Roma movement to be more feminist or other intersection, to be interested in other intersections. And the main target is to educate the white people, actually, that we want to create the need that when they are formulating our Roma narrative, even when they are not aware of that they are creating our narrative. They should contact us, they should involve us inside. So, but we see also a positive changes also in that. So many people are contacting us, and there is a need for, and really the last sentence, that there is a really need for also among the white people that they want to they want to listen us. So not all white people are completely how to say, like rigid. Yes. So I see that, but in this panel they told us that we are young, and yes, it's subjective. I'm not that young because it's my more than 15 years I'm in the Roma activism. And let me tell you this, that if you are not talking like clear that the oppression is why it's happening, if we are just complaining, you know, and they are listening us, they can think that they are not part of the problem. In that case, when I was only talking about we are discriminated, we are oppressed, they are just saying like, okay, but they don't feel that it's also because of you. So that's the problem is starting. That's why they are getting angry when we are talking about also their responsibility, and also that they have position also. Because if I have a position as a Roma, they have also position, and they have to take the responsibility of that. Thank you.
Thank you, Yotzi, for sharing your campaigns with us, Ame Punch, and I forgot the other one.
Owning the game.
And owning the game. But yes, it is a fact that Roma LGBT are multiply discriminated, and it takes courage and it takes heroism to stand up for this community and to talk about these issues as well. So thank you for that. And next in my list, I have Miss Noelia Lopez Cortes from Spain.
Okay, I promise I will be fast. I don't want Atanas to murder me. Today, I was going to be translating Estefania Ruiz Molina. She's the creator of Mil Duquelas, and I know you know about Mil Duquelas because some of you are wearing the necklace or the bracelet or the shirts. You know about Mil Duquelas. Well, this is a project about representation. It tries to show what we are through the clothing and the use and the shirts and everything, and murals on the streets, so people can know about us and about our stories, even if they don't want to hear us. So, next, please. That is Estefania, the creator of Mil Duquelas. She's very sorry not to be here, but she has tested positive in COVID. So I know everything about her. I'm going to speak in behalf of her. She's 26 years old. She's from Pan Bendito, a marked Roma neighborhood in Madrid, in Spain. And she and I, we both are gitanas, which means Roma from Spain. I am Noelia Cortes, I haven't said it. I am a writer. And she wants you to know she has been inspired by her family, the woman in her family, because she knows her family have been under sexism, racism, and classism at the same time, because they are poor and women and Roma. Next, please. These are the women in Estefania's family. She's the little baby in the arms. Next. Next. Okay, the meaning of the word Mil Duquelas Puro Arte, which is the name of the brand, it's interesting maybe because Duquelas is a word in Calo. Okay, in Spain we don't speak Romanes because it was forbidden by law. They would cut your tongue if you spoke it. So we don't know how to speak Romanes, but we speak Calo, which is a mixture of Spanish and Roma. It's like the Roma who still spoke Roma, mix it with the Spanish, so we speak Roma. And the word Duquelas is a Roma word in Spain, which means like pain, sorrow, sadness, problems, something like that. So if in Spain you say Duquelas, they will know that you are Roma. Just like the verb to know in Spain will be saber, but in Roma, calo would be chanelar. So there are some kind of words that people will know that you are Spanish Roma. And Duguelas means sorrow, so the entire name of the brand will be like 1,000 sorrows, pure art. And she wants you to know that the part pure art, it's because she loves that we, Roma, have turned our pain and extermination into art so many times. Next. Well, this project began because Estefania wanted to be represented in the clothing, because she's a fashion designer and she has to design some activist clothing but never sees Roma in this clothing. So she made her own brand with her own money, and she's working to afford 1,000 duguelas because she gets no benefit from it. And it happened in the quarantine because she decided that was the time. So she invested her savings. Next. Well, that's what she wants you to know. 1,000 duguelas is a tribute to the Roma people, dreaming of art and diversity. Next. Empowerment and awareness through this brand. Next. Well, these are the jewels, some of the jewels that she sells in the store. As you can see, it's the Roma wheel. I have it, and some of you have seen you have it in bracelets and everything, and the earrings, and well, that's a way for us to wear what we are with pride, not to be afraid of it. Next. This is, well, I'm going to speak about the clothing, but there are so many shirts, like from the LGBT people from in Roma, like you say. It's like for so many kind of Roma people. So next. This shirt is about Roma people who resisted somehow. So there are some kind of flamenco artists I mean, people think flamenco is an art from Spain, but actually it's from Andalusia and from the Roma people. So this is full of people from flamenco, like La Niña de los Peines, and through this shirt, she wants us to wear the heroes of our community with pride. So if someone says Roma people don't know anything, well, you can say, well, I'm wearing this. Next. Okay, this shirt. A Roma person is whoever they want to be. It's the male and the female version, and she wants you to know that with that shirt, she's encouraging you to be gay, to be non-binary, to be anything you want to be, because you will still be Roma. Next. Well, this shirt is Somos la nieta de la gitana que no pudiste quemar, which means we are the grandchildren of the Roma women that you could not burn or exterminate. Next. Well, the papuza shirt is very significant for Estefania because she has imagined in her mind so many times how her childhood would be if he had seen someone wearing a papuza shirt, so he would know there's a Roma woman who is a writer and a hero for her. So the shirt says, lo vemos todo igual, pero lo vivimos diferente, which means like we see the same things, but we live these things very differently. Next. Well, some of the shirts. Next. Next. Well, these are some of her designs for remarkable days. Next. Okay, 1,000 duguelas is about owning our own identity and showing our roots with pride. Next. Okay, she wants you to know also that her brand, for her, is like a tool to be seen by the world. So she invested her savings in creating that, and in 3 months she got a lot of feedback. Like, she was interviewed everywhere, millions of people saw her interviews, and in like 12 months she had 12,000 followers. Next. Okay, so previous one, please. Okay, that's it. Well, what she does has arrived to more than 25 countries, and now this is even mistaken because it's more than 25,000 followers what she has, and it's I mean, it's nothing about her. She just shows Roma history. Next. Okay, next. Claims through art and sociopolitical impact. Next. Okay, that's a mural that she made in the streets of Madrid in El Rastro, which is a neighborhood so typically Roma, and people will sell things in the streets and everything. And she had a huge fight to paint it in the walls because they wouldn't let her, because I mean they didn't want a Roma mural in the middle of the center of Madrid, but she finally did it, and it's her design and she did it alone. And what she did here, she could do it because of the savings that she got through selling the things she sells in Mil Duquelas. Next. Next, please.
There's no next?
Well, I say anyway. Okay. Well, that's the mural. That's her making the mural. Next. Okay, that was exactly 1 year ago. Because of the Roma Resistance Day, she printed all these faces and names of important Roma people in history, and she glued it in a huge wall in Madrid, which is the center of Spain. And I mean, if you pass the street, you could see Alfred Anthia, war hero, Roma, and there's a lot of faces and names. And what's sad about it was erased and ripped off like 2 hours after she did it by people. But even if it happened, it was in all the journals in Spain. So people knew about our heroes. Next. Well, that's when you can see the huge wall just in the train station. Next. Well, this is my book because I told her the story of Estefania's fight because of another mural. There's a huge feminist mural in Spain featuring like 12 or 20 women, I don't even know the number now, but it was vandalized, and she offered herself to design a solidary shirt, and with the benefits of the shirt, she afforded to make the mural again, and the only thing she asked for was for Alfred Anthia to be also in the mural, so there would be a Roma woman. And what she was told was, if you want to, we can paint her in a Roma neighborhood, but not here. So the book is there because I said it in the book. It's a feminist essay about Roma women. Next. Well, this is another shirt that's the shirt she designed it for the mural to be restored, and you can see Alfred Anthia in the upper right side, but she was never in the mural. Next. And that's the final thing, that's the flyer she includes in every single shirt or jewel or anything you ask for to receive. She sends you this flyer, and that will be all. And next, and final one. That will be her social media in case you want to know more about her, and I hope you like it, even if she's not here to explain. Thank you.
Thank you, Noelia, for the great presentation of Mil Duquelas. This wasn't an advertisement of Mil Duquelas. I mean, it was an advertisement of Mil Duquelas, but it was an advertisement of how a Roma girl used her savings to own her Roma identity and to show pride. We are sorry, Estefania, that you are not here with us, and I hope you are watching us from home at the moment. Thank you, Noelia, once again. And our last speaker for today, Mr. Shimano Peterman, young Sinto from Germany.
Hello, welcome to all of you. I'm really excited about this day. And as said before, I'm Sinto from Germany. I'm also a board member for the BVSR, the Bundesvereinigung der Sinti und Roma. I think in English it roughly translates to Federal Union of the Sinti and Roma. And also a student of political sciences, but before I was all that, I was working in a low-wage job that made me quite miserable, and that only changed when I got the chance to work for MEP Romeo Franz here at the Parliament, which basically changed my perspective. Just to say it first, this is not meant to be any kind of success story which is about me. It's just the point that's going to come, is that it changed my perspective, because before I came here I realized right now that I was quite content with being discontent. The minimum was always okay. Working in a low-wage job was not a problem at all, and I realized that that is something that I guess all of us had in common, or people in general had in common, after centuries of segregation, of slavery, of genocide. We've all came to a point in our cultures where we were like, that's how it is. We don't need to talk about it. It's always been that way. Anti-Gypsyism, what's that? Oh, racism against us. Yeah, I know that. It's always been like that. It's okay. Maybe you can feel with me, and that you were at one point not even surprised to encounter anti-Gypsyism in your life. It was just a normal thing to do. But today is Romani Resistance Day. And we've learned that we do not need to be okay with everything that's going wrong, and that we do not need to settle for the minimum. We can reach for the maximum. We can now stand up and demand our rights, demand our place in society, and this is exactly what is happening now, especially in the younger generation among the Sinti in Germany, which is what I'll be talking about mainly. Because when I've read the title for this event, I never thought of myself as a contemporary hero, but I've worked with many people that I would regard as such. And they have been these people that said, no, we are not going to accept the minimum anymore, and we are going to speak up. And a very important tool for that, next please, would be the social media that they have taken for themselves to use in their fight against anti-Gypsyism. Just for context, in Germany, I would say, my personal impression, the main problem when it comes to the rights of Sinti and Roma is that there is not much talk about it. Germans tend to ignore the topic largely, like the German society largely. It's been only in the 80s that the federal government recognized the Sinti and Roma as victims of the Nazi regime. It's been only in the early 2000s that a memorial was created in their honor, and to this day it isn't much talked about, and many people, I believe, don't know much about us. And especially young Sinti have now started to use social media to show them who we are, what we're facing on a general basis, on a daily basis. Like we've had projects where we were able to work with existing radio stations to publish videos, to publish interviews, educating the people of Germany about young Sinti and Roma, about Sinti and Roma in general, about our culture, about our experiences, about what's important for us. We advocate our rights through Facebook, through Twitter, through Instagram, through YouTube. we use all these tools to show them who we are, because only then, when they know who we are, when they know what we're facing with, they can start to change society. And one important example of this would be, next please, a petition that was started to protect the memorial in Berlin that was in jeopardy because the German train company wanted to build a new metro line under it. It's still there's still negotiations going on, but this was largely ignored before the outcry of especially young Sinti and Roma in Germany who started to demand to talk about this, to start to put it on the agenda, on the political agenda. Of course, not only young Sinti and Roma, of course, also with the support of established NGOs in Germany and established characters in Germany. But this was the main example of how the social media and could bring the attention to an issue that would have otherwise gone completely unrecognized by the German society, and we're still in hopes that that the memorial can be saved and can stay where it is, because it is such an important spot for the community in Germany, but I think all throughout Europe, to commemorate this terrible spot in our history and this terrible pain that has been inflicted upon our people. And I think I'm going to wrap it up a little bit, because I think, yeah, that's the main thing. Another thing is that young Sinti nowadays are starting also to change structures. As I've said, it's all about getting heard, making the voices heard that has otherwise been unheard. We've all grown up with a terrible respect for the older generation, but it also in many cases resulted in younger people not speaking up and not voicing their concerns. Now we are trying to get everyone heard. And next, please. That also resulted in the founding of the BVSR, which is, of course, not only a union of young Romani people, but of NGOs all throughout Germany, but with a different angle, and with an angle to stop this paternalistic approach, to work not only from the top down, but work with our people, listen to their concerns, and include everyone in the process of fighting for our rights. And yeah, that's basically everything I have to say about it. I think I'm going to wrap it up a little bit and give it to the Q&A section right now. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Shimano, for sharing with us the struggle and the resistance you are having in Germany with your campaigns and keeping the memorial where it is at the moment. With that being said, we are ahead of time, as you can see from your watches. So I would like to collect 2 to 3 questions, if we have, from the audience.
One good thing would be of England at the moment is a heavyweight boxer.
Yes. Tyson Fury.
Correct.
Another hero. Okay, do we have questions?
So I'm very happy to be here and to be able to hear all of you young people. And I just have a question for the young gentleman from Bulgaria. I think your name is Misha. So How was the community reaction after the demolishing of your new neighborhood, or that's what you started to do? And the police and other institutions, we would like to hear about that. Thank you.
That's the funny thing, because when we told the local authorities that what we built was actually demolished, they said, I mean, it was expected, so we will not do anything. And they didn't do anything, even though, as I said, the square there, the place has cameras because of the businesses, and it could be found easily. But as I said, I think that the local authorities are actually paying people to destroy it. Because if we manage to restore the square, they know that we have bigger plans, and they know that strong, united community could look forward to rule, and population of about 20,000 people, one community, in a town of about 80,000 in total, which means 20,000 Roma to 60,000 Bulgarians. We have the full chances to have at least 5 to 6 Roma people in the local council. So they did nothing. And the community was reacted in kind of the same way. They said that we cannot do anything because I thought this is for me.
The police and the mayor called right now.
Yeah, the community said that it was kind of expected again, because they see that if we can do something like that, outside forces will try to prevent it. Because in the past there were kind of same tries to do it, but they all failed and they all gave up, and that's what they want us to do again.
Thank you, Misho. With that, I would like to thank the speakers. I would like to thank you, the audience, and for everybody who is watching us online. With this event, we wanted to show you and to show ourselves that Romani resistance didn't end in 1944. It is continuing today, and I hope with these stories we succeeded. Thank you.